I am 81 years old, and I am standing in a hallway that smells like lemon polish and stillness. There is a small wooden table against the wall here, and sitting on top of it is a beige landline phone. It is corded, it is old, it is covered in a thin layer of dust that I do not wipe away because I am afraid if I touch it too much, I will remind myself that nobody is going to use it. I walk past this table 20 times a day. Sometimes I stop. Sometimes I lift the receiver just to hear the dial tone hum against my ear. It is a steady, flat sound. It means the line is open. It means the connection is alive. But nobody is on the other end. This phone used to ring so much my husband would yell from the bedroom to let it go. He would pull the pillow over his head because the ringing never stopped. It rang during dinner. It rang during movies. It rang when we were trying to sleep. Now I check the dial tone 3 times a day just to make sure I haven't been disconnected. I am terrified that if the line goes dead, the last proof that I exist in this world will vanish with it. People think loneliness is about being alone in a room. It is not. Loneliness is sitting next to a phone that never rings, when you spent 40 years believing that the ringing was the sound of love. I need you to hear this. Being needed is not the same as being loved, and I learned that difference too late to fix it. For decades, I was the woman everyone called. I was the fixer. I was the safety net. If my sister needed money at midnight, I was the one who went to the ATM in my bathrobe. If a neighbor's pipe burst on Christmas morning, I was the one who brought the towels and the plunger. My children's teachers had my number memorized better than I knew my own birthday. I believed a lie. I told myself that if everyone needs you, you are loved. I thought utility was the same as intimacy. I thought that because I was useful, I was valuable. So I said yes to everything. I skipped my own doctor's appointments to drive my brother to his. I missed my daughter's school play because a cousin needed help moving a couch across town. I remember sitting in my car outside that school, listening to the muffled sound of children singing through the gym walls, knowing my little girl was looking for me in the audience. I stayed in the car. I told myself I was being a good person. I told myself I was being generous. But I was not being generous. I was being cowardly. It is easier to fix a stranger's couch than to sit still and face your own life. It is easier to solve a crisis than to sit in a quiet room and ask yourself who you are when nobody is asking you for anything. The phone rang during baths. It rang during holidays. It rang during my anniversary dinner. I would leave the table to answer it. My husband would stop eating. He would look at me with eyes that got sadder every year. He knew. He knew I was chasing validation from people who would never stay. I wore my exhaustion like a medal. I walked around tired and proud, thinking the fatigue was proof of my worth. But it was not proof of worth. It was proof of erasure. I was deleting myself one phone call at a time, and I did not notice the silence growing until it was too loud to ignore. The silence came all at once. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was raining. I remember the rain because it was hitting the window pane in a rhythm that sounded like tapping, like someone trying to get in. My husband had passed 6 months prior. The house felt too big. The kitchen smelled of reheated lentil soup, the kind you make when you are cooking for one and do not have the energy to care about flavor. I sat beside the phone. I just sat there. I watched the light on the base. It was dark, no calls. It had been weeks since anyone called for anything other than a birthday greeting or a bill collector. I picked up the receiver. I listened to the dial tone. I put it down. I picked it up again. I needed to hear the sound. I needed to know the line worked. Because if the line worked, maybe the problem was me. Maybe I was just invisible. Finally, I could not stand the waiting anymore. I dialed my daughter. I know she is busy. I know she has children. I know life is hard, but I just wanted to hear her voice. I wanted to feel like I was still a mother and not just a memory. She answered on the third ring. There was noise in the background, a television, a dog barking, children screaming. She sounded distracted. Her voice was far away. She said, "Mom, is everything okay?" I said, "I just wanted to hear your voice." There was a pause. I could hear her sigh. She said, "Mom, I'm in the middle of something right now. Can I call you back later?" I said yes. Of course I said yes. I am still the fixer. I am still the one who makes it easy for everyone else. I hung up the phone. I placed the receiver down gently on the cradle. The click echoed through the house. It sounded like a door closing. I sat there in the smell of cold lentil soup, and I understood. She was not going to call back. Nobody was coming. I had spent 40 years building a life where I was indispensable, and now I was unnecessary. The phone was not broken. I was. I had made myself so useful that I had forgotten how to be a person. I had trained them to only call when something was wrong, and now that I was the one who was wrong, the line stayed dead. Now look at this phone. It sits on this small table like a monument to my obsolescence. My granddaughter told me I should get a cell phone. She said it would be easier. She said I could carry it in my pocket. I refused. I told her I like this one. I did not tell her the truth. The truth is, I am terrified of unplugging the last line anyone might use to reach me. If I switch to a cell phone, I have to give up this number. And if I give up this number, the history disappears. So I keep the landline. I keep the dust. I keep the silence. I found my old address book in a drawer last week. The pages are yellowed. The leather cover is cracked. Every page is filled with names, hundreds of them. I was everyone's emergency contact. I was the person you called when the car broke down. I was the person you called when you needed a place to stay. I was the person you called when you had nowhere else to go. But I was nobody's first thought for coffee. I was nobody's first thought for joy. I was the solution, not the company. It is a devastating thing to realize you volunteered for your own erasure. I did this. I taught them that I was a tool, and now that the tool is old, nobody knows what else to do with me. I walk past this table and I see my own reflection in the plastic of the handset. I look old, I look tired, but mostly I look empty. The pain is not that they do not love me. I think they do. The pain is that they do not know me. They know what I provide. They know what I can do. They do not know who I am when I am not doing anything. And neither do I. I am sitting in a house full of memories that belong to other people. I am living in the aftermath of my own usefulness, and the silence is so loud it hurts my ears. So listen to me. You, the woman who is watching this right now. I see you. I know you. You are the one who drops everything when anyone calls. You are the one who feels guilty when you sit still. You think being exhausted for others means you are valuable. You are not generous. You are hiding. You are hiding from the question of who you are when nobody needs you. Stop confusing being useful with being loved. Utility is temporary. Love is permanent. If your value is based on what you can do for people, you will be discarded when you can no longer do it. I am living proof of that. I need you to do something hard. I need you to build a life that still exists when you stop performing for everyone else. Say no. Let the phone ring. Let someone else fix the couch. Let someone else drive to the hospital. Stay home. Sit in the quiet. Find out who you are when you are not solving a problem. And then call someone. But do not call them to help. Do not call them to fix. Call them to be known. Say, I am having a hard day. Say, I miss you. Say, I am here. Do not offer anything, just exist. Because if you do not learn to exist without utility, you will end up like me. You will end up standing in a hallway smelling lemon polish, talking to a dial tone, praying for a ring that will never come. Do not wait until you are 81 years old to realize that you are allowed to take up space without earning it. You are allowed to be loved for nothing. You are allowed to be useless and still be worthy. Put the phone down. Look at the people in your room. Let them see you, not the helper, not the fixer, you. Before the silence becomes the only thing left to hear.